Welcome to another episode of Better Catholics, wherein we talk about anything and everything under God's grace. We've talked so much already. Actually, we're about almost a year in the program.
We should plan for a one-year anniversary.
Let's plan on that. Maybe we can have a party or something.
Yeah, it calls for a celebration,
sure
gratitude,
does.
Thanksgiving.
Yes. Wow, it's been almost 1 year of teaching, of evangelizing, of learning as well, and listening to the people. So this is our way of saying or helping the community to become better Catholics. Wow, 1 year. It went by.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, very, very quick. Yeah.
You survived?
And we survived every single episode of it. And thanks be to God that we did. So we've talked about many things already. Once again, I'm Father Melvin. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Father Melvin.
I'm Bishop Ryan.
I'm Donna Flores.
Father Charlie.
This time we're going to talk about the CCD program, the religious education, the sacramental preparation of our students in our parishes, the status of our religious education, and many other things. So where to start is actually...
I'd like to start as being the defensive one, as Donna reminded me earlier, because we finished our CCD school year 2021-2022 when we did all the sacramental celebrations in May and June. And so this coming September 18 is Catechetical Sunday. And so all the catechists will be commissioned. Now, unlike previous years where we called the coordinators and assistant coordinators to come to the cathedral for commissioning, this year we're going to do it differently, which actually Father Charlie and Father Melvin, you didn't know yet. Now you know. Okay. It was recommended by one of the catechists, like, why don't we do it parish-based this time? Let the pastor take care of their own commissioning so that also Rhoda and Tinian,
That's right.
they didn't have to have the burden of coming here.
That's right.
And so since it's nationally, I have even here the right for Catechetical Sunday, every pastor can do the commissioning. So I think that's a great idea, because I believe in our last communication with the clergy, I said, come to the cathedral and we have the coordinators and the assistant coordinators. But now, why don't we do parish-based? And I think it's part again of synodality, and do in your own parish community, and that would involve all the catechists. So I'm hoping that all our 13 parishes will have this kickoff event through this commissioning of all the catechists on September 18. And I believe that's the 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time. I checked before coming.
And actually, in Santa Soledad, my parish, we already had meeting about this, and we're going to have our commissioning on September 18.
Okay, very good. Yeah. See, you're also on the dot. How about Father Melvin? Not that I want to check what's going on in parishes.
We don't have a plan yet for that. We just had a initial meeting on this. Yes, but we're going to do whatever the diocese is planning on doing. I'm sure we're going to follow through with that.
Yeah. And so with that said, I think what we want to talk about here is like, we don't just do this kind of like an ongoing cycle, but what do we learn every year? What changes do we need to make? What worked well last school year with the pandemic and all of that? How can we improve? And that's why I be quiet, because I don't want to be defensive, as I was reminded earlier.
Yeah. One of the concerns that I received from someone is this. Actually, and we had this in our parish in St. Jude. We had students with special needs, So these are special needs children. I'm not sure if it is even politically correct.
Now I'm going to get defensive.
Yes, but of course they are welcome to attend. Now it takes mastery skill, to address the needs of these children. But we should have some kind of program for them. I don't know. So are we ready for this?
We
Or,
need help, and the right person who can help us is Miss Donna Flores, who is
Hey.
heading the department.
Well, it's not so much that you have to have your own program, a separate program for them, but why don't you include them in the program that's already there and just provide like some of the accommodations for them. If you need somebody to assist the CCD teacher, an extra help there, just they just have a different way of expressing themselves. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't understand what's going on. Yes. It's just a different way of, like I said, expressing themselves. Everyone has a different style of learning, especially now during this pandemic. More kids are on their phones or on devices. That's how they learn. They learn best that way. That's their individual learning. Some work best in a group. What also works great is when you have a peer sit with that child, just the sense of belonging again. We go back to that, the inclusion, that really makes a difference. And it's not to say the child doesn't know what's going on. Right. It's just a different way of interpreting, and maybe it takes a little longer to articulate or to show the understanding, but it doesn't mean the child should be exempted from anything that happens or removed separately to have a special session. That's one of the worst things to do, is to segregate the child. And in the end, they should all be receiving the sacraments together. It shouldn't have to be separate. I mean, it's case by case, right? If just for any reason it needs to be, the sacrament needs to be delivered at home or what have you for any, physical limitations or medical issues, then of course. Yes. But just the mere fact that the child is able to, we got to go back and focus. What can the child do? Let's not focus on what the child cannot do. Right. Let's see what the child can do. And let's, any teacher would focus on that, would use that as the driving force to get the child to learn. You'll be surprised. There are many successes out there, and I think each child is a success in their own right. What more out of our Catholic faith? And this goes back again to our reason for being here. Right. Bringing people back to church. We want our people to come back to church. And if they feel like their child's not welcome, the whole family's not coming. Trust me, that's just how it is.
And Donna, that's an helpful insight, because as I paid close attention when you said, let's not separate them. Because, us priests, we're not trained academically to handle this kind of situation. Right. And what would be the best approach? Integration, like let the child, and Father Melvin even asked, like, what would be the proper term? Like children with special needs. We want to also be inclusive and careful of what we say. And by you saying that, let's not separate them. So even though they have different learning styles, capabilities, ways of expressing themselves, it is advisable then to let them be part of the regular class setting, CCD.
Absolutely.
Then separate them.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. If you need a couple of more adults in there just to help redirect or help, help the child individually, then so be it. Yes. They're learning in school. Why can't they learn in Latrina or in CCD?
And that's kind of also like at the public school system in the regular grade level, so you don't segregate them.
No, I mean, you do have your pull out where, the child just needs individualized learning, instruction and support. But for the most part, more than 85% of the time, together. He should be in learning with his peers. And that is the best way for children to learn and feel the sense of belonging and to motivate. Really, that's just for anybody.
Let me share about Santa Soledad Parish, because for the past 2 years, I had this issue. I mean, it's not an issue. We have a student with special needs. And it's really a learning process for me also on what to do with that. But we need to involve the parents actually.
Of course.
Because I told him when they registered for the CCD, I told him, being aware, being told that the child has a special needs. So I told him that I will give you the freedom, either just come for the masses and you don't need to come for the classes. But if it's up to you. But you know what? For the past 2 years, this child was always present in class and in mass, more than the others. So it was a joy to see him always every Wednesday, every Saturday. And he was happy to receive the confirmation.
And it's not to say he didn't understand what was going on.
I don't
I'm
think
sure
so.
he had a better understanding than some of the other kids that just come in and hang out.
And the thing about that, I remember the confirmation teacher telling me that later part of the program, this boy was talking already in class, participating, you know. And I think I think Donna is right about don't segregate, don't exclude them from the instruction. Let them give the freedom, either they want to come to class or not. But at least for the sacrament, for the Sunday masses, you have to come. And the mother was always present also.
Of course.
That's good that the family is really involved. I think what we are lacking, and this is something that we can really plan as kind of, a way for us to improve is, all our catechists are volunteers. And I believe it's important for us to recruit volunteers or those who want to be involved in this ministry with really the knowledge and the background, like what your office is doing, Donna. Maybe you can give us some recommendations of parishioners who are equipped on how to handle this, because, it is important that we do it the right way. We do it the proper way. And this has been expressed really as a need ever since. But in terms of, another word, institutionalizing it, making it really part of our system, let's be honest, we haven't done it.
Or probably, let's have all our CCD teachers have a training with their department about how to handle children with special needs.
Strategies.
Yes.
But you know what? The best teachers are the parents themselves. Maybe you should ask a parent who has a child with an individual need.
Right.
Would you like to come in and help? Because it's always the ones that care, that try harder,
True.
So there's intention. It's very intentional, and there's care. And that's really all you need is somebody that truly cares about the mission, what we're trying to achieve here. And really parents, maybe even older siblings, they can come in and assist. They understand they can not just help one, but help the others that are there. I remember, Bishop, I brought up a concern to you about one parish that turned away a child, didn't want to confirm the child because he was on this.
Please don't mention the parish or the priest. Okay.
I will never do that. But I'm just telling you, that's a concern, and it's a legitimate concern. And it was not even the parent of the child. It's a parishioner. So what more, you really need to be, part of the disability community. We have a partnership out there, and it's not just the school system, it's out in the community. We have a greater collection of agencies that group together. And 1 year we did have Polly James. He offered Mass for us at Cristo Rey Church. And this was our disability network partners. And so as representing the diocese, he did that for us. And it was so wonderful. People felt so great being in there. I mean, so it really does make a difference. And of course, belonging, inclusion is a big thing, and it's not going away. So we need to get out of our glass houses and bring these kids in, bring in these parishioners, because once the parents grow old and can't go anymore, who's going to fill the church up?
Yeah. There are two words that caught my attention. One is partnership, and you said about there's disability community out there. And I'm thinking right now, how can we priests also be part of that, not just by doing liturgical celebrations, but truly be educated as well? And I think this must be something that our religious education office can deliberately include, because none of us has training really on how to handle this. And, religious education, it's not just about transmitting the faith, the content, but the whole, pedagogy. I meant to scrabble this.
You're picking up big points on the Scrabble board.
and no, I'm serious. Like perhaps we kindly help us and lead us. Maybe give a lecture to the priest, because how can we be part of that community if we ourselves are not educated? Right? That situation that Donna mentioned, if the priest concerned doesn't know how to handle it, then it's important that we should know how to handle this kind of situation.
Definitely. And it goes back to your need for a grievance office, right? These are where people express
Is there a conference that Father Charlie can attend?
I don't know. We can probably put one together.
I think I'll do my internship at their office for my psychology.
No, but we should. Thank you for bringing this up, Father Melvin, because it is truly like, a need that hasn't been addressed well. I think we do address it like bits and pieces, but we haven't.
Case by case, right? So, inclusion means maybe just changing the style of the learning at the CCD, so if it doesn't have to all be textbook, question and answer. Maybe there's another way to illustrate understanding of what concepts, what we're trying to teach the kids, in their whether it's Holy Communion or confirmation or what have you. There's different ways of expressing understanding,
In general, young people are evolving. Their learning styles are, they vary. There are so many different kinds of learning styles of children, of people. It begs the question: is our CCD program or religious education program, does it need to be updated as well? Or is it already outdated? Or what are the things that we need to do to adjust the program into a more updated version of it, including, of course, the special needs children and the other children? Are they being given enough instruction, or is the instruction based catechism instruction thing, is it overrated, or I don't know, do we need to do something about it?
I think what Sister Nina did was good. I mean, these are modules, lesson plans every meeting, rather than just teaching Tatan Mami every Sunday and every Sunday. At least you have something, a program, topics to be learned,
Right.
And Sister Nina did it. I like it.
Yeah. And even I think St. Jude also did, like, how does a CCD class connect to the day-to-day parish life? And even kind of in terms of concretizing what concepts learned by going out there to the community. If we talk about social justice, how do they do it? If we talk about ministry in the church, can we get them involved? And so there is like really a concrete link. It's not just lip service, but really concretizing them. If our goal is to make them disciples of Christ, then we should make that intentional in our CCD. You mentioned about, is it outdated? I don't want to put down our CCD teachers that they're giving their heart and soul. And I think we all need to grow. We all need to really learn, relearn, and an ongoing formation.
Exactly.
Maybe the answer is yes to both questions you did. And then we just have to be honest with ourselves that, we cannot remain stagnant. We have to be open-minded and learn, relearn, and adopt new things so that we can be more effective.
I would say that it's not outdated. Otherwise, it's the teaching of the Lord. How can it be outdated?
I mean, the style,
probably we just have to improve our methodology,
right?
And I think that's the point, that we need to do something about it. It's not only about if our method right now, it's about classroom setting, can it be if there is a student with special needs, can we do something about it?
Right.
And, we cater to that. Then if some students are like probably having issues also, can they have a home study with their parents? Because actually parents are the first CCD teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about flexibility.
Yes.
As long as your expectations and outcomes are established, allow for some flexibility. Maybe you need to sit outside, not necessarily, in the social hall at the,
Right.
just.
Because if you're expecting always every Saturday, students will come 100% attendance. No, it's impossible. Because, these are young people. We've been students. We did not attend school regular.
Good point that you mentioned that, because growing up, we didn't really have this school year of CCD instruction.
Right.
Growing up, where I come from, it's the whole month of May. That's why Flores de Mayo. Flores, your last name.
Yes.
Because we offer flower to the Blessed Mother. And with that is the instruction. And
Every day.
And it's that short period of time. And what we do is the whole year. You didn't go through CCD because you went to the only Catholic school, right?
I did
you
go
did?
to CCD.
Okay.
I was living on Guam when I received my first Holy Communion.
Oh, okay.
So I did go to the parish, the church there.
Okay. How about you, Father Charlie? Did you also grow up with CCD classes and
Me?
yes,
Flores de Mayo.
Flores de Mayo? Were you the Flores?
I offered the
You offered the Flores, Father Melvin, because we're older.
Yeah, we had CCD. I had to attend every Saturday afternoon. I had to go to the parish and attend CCD program before the sacraments. So in order to receive the sacraments, you have to go through a whole year of instruction. One whole year.
We can see the generation gap here.
But there's an issue I would like to put on the table. For example, a child is 7 years old or 8 years old, not baptized. Are we going to say no? You need to be baptized first before you go to the CCD program. What are we going to do with this kind of issues? Because I have a lot of these actually for the past years.
Yes.
What I've done is this. For example, children are not baptized, 7 years old. I enrolled them in the pre-Holy Communion classes. And at the end of the year, we baptized them during Easter Vigil.
Right.
And then the next year, they just go to the Holy Communion class because they're already, hitting
9, 10 years old.
Yeah, I mean, two birds with one stone. Attending pre-Holy Communion, and that's also your baptismal instruction, because 7 years old must receive instruction before receiving baptism also. Right. So that's what we're doing, and that's many students like they did not attend pre-Holy Communion. They're adult. They don't have Holy Communion. So we separate them from the regular Holy Communion class, and we allow them to receive with the first Holy Communion regular students. The children and the adult also, because these are issues in the parishes.
Yes. And that's why I believe, thank you for sharing that, Father Charlie, because I truly believe this communal discernment in every parish is key. It's hard to say, let's set up a diocesan policy on 7 years old and above who are not baptized. And what do we do? Because we know the liturgical law that 7 and above, they go through RCIC.
Right.
So that when they are baptized, they receive also Holy Communion and confirmation. But we're concerned about the preparation. So I think, the best discerners really are the pastor and those in that team. And it's hard to put one policy that would be applicable to all. And it's important for us to know the background, the situation, rather than saying nope, it has to be like this. I don't know. What do you think, Father Melvin?
Well, I make my own executive decision in terms of cases like that.
Yes.
And it's pretty much the same as what you do. When the child is not baptized, 7 years old, the child must attend before the sacrament of before the other sacraments. He needs to attend 1 year of RCIC included in the CCD program already, the Holy Communion program, and before he attends the First Holy Communion program, he should be baptized already. So he has another year of instruction before he receives
Holy Communion.
That is my executive decision. Pastoral decision.
I like the word pastoral decision than executive decision. That makes it like you're so magas.
Executive is Donna. Pastoral.
The pastoral decision. Sorry for the term. It reminds me of the movie, old movie. Anyway, so that's what I do, and it works. It works for me. Yeah. So probably that is something that the other parishes can consider. Because instead of saying, "Oh, you cannot do this,"
you're pushing them out from the parish,
exactly,
from the church. Yes. Actually,
a die for the Charlie, huh?
No.
So maybe you don't need a blanket policy.
I like the word again.
Outlining all of this. Rather, your policy should be you're giving the discretion to the respective parish leads to decide how to go about it, so long as it's in line with, maybe that's what they need. To know that they are given the authority to make that decision.
I know there's latitude, but there are certainly rules and how we can kind of like,
work around it.
Yeah. Because our goal is salvation of souls.
Yes. Exactly.
And actually there are parish matters that needs parish decision, pastor. Doesn't need to have any directives whatsoever. Because canonically, the pastor of a parish can do.
Yeah, he has the full care of souls.
Exactly.
See?
That's a good topic. It's maybe we can, like I said, introduce it to the other priests, and maybe they can learn from it. Something that they can hopefully apply also in their parishes. I'm sure they have cases like this in their own parishes. In terms of teaching strategy, if you have confirmation students, if you want to keep the confirmation kids to stay in the church, what we did in St. Jude is actually it was experimental, but it worked, at least in our parish. What we did is we instead of giving them the regular instruction, catechetical instruction in their CCD program, what we did is we taught them about the different ministries in the church. And then so they still have instructions like what is being an acolyte, or what does an acolyte do? And then they experience being an acolyte, being an altar server, being a lector. All these things they learned, all these things they experienced. And gladly, some of them stayed. Some of them remained in the ministry. Some of them are readers. Some of them are acolytes. So it worked. So the question on, sometimes we don't see our students after confirmations. We don't see them anymore. They don't even come to church. This is one way of adapting into the minds of the children. If you want to keep them, get them involved.
Yeah, and we should have something to offer. We cannot just complain like, where are the young people? They just got confirmed. But when they come to us, and if we have nothing to offer, then obviously these kids would not stay.
Yeah,
it's good to have a strong youth ministry. I know your parish has one, and you have youth that are very involved, very active in activities and keeping the kids interested, right? So where are the kids after they receive First Holy Communion, in between that and confirmation?
Right.
Where are those kids?
Right. So perhaps we can create programs. These are areas that probably need some kind of adjustment or updating. areas that we should really look into.
With my meeting with my CCD teachers, I told them that this year we will do differently. Well, the regular is that students come for their classes on Saturday. That's the schedule. But I told them, I want them to be involved. Then I told them, probably we can move the instruction to Sunday. Not always, but once in a while. Gather them in the social hall, have a barbecue, have a volleyball. And actually, I bought some Phase 10 card games when I went to the States, so that at least to start with the experiment, if these confirmation students will have the excitement,
right?
The joy of coming to church and be involved, to be interested, rather than just coming to church every Saturday for instructions.
Yes.
And after that, mass and nothing.
Right.
So I told my CCD teachers, this year will be different. I want to be involved with them too.
Right.
Not only the CCD teacher and the students.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's one missing piece also with our CCD instructions. Where is the priest? Where is Pali?
And Polly, we go back to feeling a sense of belonging. When you feel like you belong, you come on your own. You're not forced. And then you're probably even going to listen. You're going to sit and you're going to listen and you're going to absorb what's happening. You're going to, so it all goes back to feeling wanted, feeling that belonging and interacting with people.
And I hope the accounting office will not question about barbecue expenses.
Reimbursement.
Yes.
No. I think we did talk about in one of our episodes about stewardship.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we truly believe that this particular program, activity class is important, then that's where our resources should go.
Yes.
Right? We should then have our parish budget be reflected in there that, a certain dollar sign is allocated for the youth, for this fellowship with them. And I think, rather than, you buy flowers, going back to Flores de Mayo and that, invest on formation and really something that will last a lifetime.
Yeah. And I'm even contemplating actually to bring some 2 or 3 youth to this youth conferences in the States.
That's another trouble. Save them for another topic.
Yes, but this is about the youth. Because for them to see a reality, what's happening actually in these youth organizations, that they are so active and involved in their parishes.
Because they feel belonged.
Yes.
That they belong.
Yes, so that they can see also what's happening, what they need to do when they come back to the parish.
Right. Oh, wow.
So when does this all start? When does CCD start?
September 18th.
Wow. So that's we call it a wrap. Let's wrap it up. And but there is a lot to talk about. Like I said, these are all concepts, theories that we are talking about here in the program. But perhaps we can make something out of it, make it applicable, maybe in our parishes. Learn from perhaps our experiences as a parish. What are our experiences? What were our experiences in the past that can be sustained, and what other areas need to be updated or adjusted? That is how we learn, and if we truly are concerned about our children, about our kids in the church, whether they are here for CCD program, whether they are here to just hang out in the church, we need to give them something and to keep them involved. But the instruction, again, is very important. Updating it is very important. Keeping them is very important as well. And it's very nice that you are getting involved in your churches.
I will try.
Ministries, and especially in the CCD program in the youth. Seeing you right there is a sign that for them that you love them, that you care about them, and that's what our children need to feel. That they are loved, that they are accepted, that they belong. So to all our CCD teachers, to all the priests in our parishes, get involved, get into the action, and be with the children. They will love you for that, and they will remain. They will stay in the church, and that's how we are going to make them better Catholics.